What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jay, and this is, of course, the Jay Sinky channel. So you guys know how it goes at this point. It is another Talk and Tackle Thursday. I think that's something that we might start catching on to. Talk and Tackle Thursdays. And just so you know, guys, Happy New Year. It's coming in the next couple of days, and I do have a video that's going to be coming out after the New Year. And I think I even said it in that video too. But Happy New Year, guys. I hope you guys have a good one. I hope it's wonderful for you guys. My videos for the beginning of the year may be a little maybe a little minute. Might not have as many coming out at first, but that's just because, like I said, Rach has a surgery coming up on the 3rd of January, and she's going to be having some recovery that she's going to be getting through. And of course, I'm going to be there for her. So, but let's not get into all that again. In today's Talk and Tackle, guys, the tackle that we're going to be talking about is the good old SPYBAIT. Before we get into this video too deep, guys, we got to talk about the sponsor of the video, Carl's Bait and Tackle. Guys, I love being a Carl's Bait and Tackle member. You get up to 30% off of a lot of items, a lot of great name brands, and you get all kinds of name brands that you have on their website. And the best part, my favorite part, is you get free shipping. So it's really cool is you can have a really great deal. Like right now they have dollar Sakoshi bugs, and you can get one pack for $1 and get free shipping. That to me is like the winner there for me. But go check them out, guys. Become a member. It's definitely worth it. Use the links in the bio. It definitely helped me out, helps channel out, helps you out, helps them out, helps everybody out. Anyway, guys, back to the Talk and Tackle. So let's talk about it. What is a SPYBAIT? A SPYBAIT is a hard-bodied bait that has a propeller on the front, on the front, and a propeller on the back. Okay? And you're going to have treble hooks, and they're going to be small treble hooks here, and typically it's going to be on the smaller side. This one here is 2 inches. Now there are other ones out there that are twice that size. You get them up to 100 millimeters. A SPYBAIT is a finesse rig. They call it a power fishing finesse rig. I know that sounds kind of redundant on itself, but it's exactly what it is. It's a hard body, treble hook, all that fun good stuff. A lot of people say it mimics, sometimes it looks like a jerkbait almost with propellers. And the history of where that comes from, somewhere this rig came out of Japan in 2007 or 2008. It's right around that area. And they were right out of Japan. They were playing around, they were putting propellers on it, and they were seeing what the bass were reacting to. It didn't really get over here, it doesn't seem like, until the last few years. It just seems like we just didn't pick up on it. We just didn't believe it. I'm not sure what happened, but, for some reason, I think that, I'm going to start watching some, like, Japanese channels on YouTube, fishing-wise, because I feel like they're, like, ahead of the game when it comes to the next big thing that's going to be coming for the fishing industry. Japan's got it down. But so this came out 2007, 2008, and it took off then. And the most popular one that's out there is the Duo Realis, something like that. And they have multiple sizes, and they're like really hardcore in the SPYBAIT making game. That is the most popular one that's out there. That's the one you're going to hear the most about. This one here, like I said, it's on the smaller side. This is the Shinobi Shad by Jinko Fishing. There are multiple variations that you can find of the actual SPYBAIT itself. Sometimes you'll have it where the hook here is on the back, like this one for example. And then, like I said, you'll have other ones that could be longer. And sometimes this won't be on the back, it'll be more here. You'll have 2 that are in the center rather than in the back. And then you also have some that have, see, this one has 2 propellers on the front and on the back here. Now, sometimes you'll get a variation where you'll have 3 propellers on the front and then 2 on the back, or 3 and 3. But typically speaking, it's usually like a 2 and 2 propeller situation. The whole point of the SPYBAIT is to be finesse. It's tough to say that it's there to target suspending bass, but it's a slow falling bait. So when you throw it out there, you want to get it out there as far as you can, and then you want to count it down. And then you want to wait for it to, it really depends on the bottom of the kind of water that you're fishing, because you are dealing with treble hooks, but you want to get it down to the bottom as, you know, as far as you want it to go. So if you know where the bass are suspending, that's about where you want it to get, maybe a little bit above it, because you want that strike for them to go up. They like to strike up. So if you know where the bass is suspending, count down to where you want it to go, and then reel it in. It's that simple as far as reeling it in. There's not a whole lot of trickery to it. I do know that sometimes when you're reeling it in, if you notice that the bass are just following it, so let's say, I guess I dropped that one, so we'll use this one. So let's say, you know, it's reeling in, and you notice that a bass is just following it, and it's just watching it, and it's not actually doing anything to it. If you take it when you're reeling it in, and you stop it, and you just do a couple little pops. So when you're doing it, just, it gives this action, the SPYBAIT, it gives the SPYBAIT an action of looking like a bait fish that looks like it just noticed that there's a big fish behind it, and then it wants to take off. So you make it pop, it looks like it spun around, it saw, and then you start reeling quick. That triggers the bass to think, oh, I have to strike right now or I may not get this meal. So if you notice that it's following it, try that little trick, and you may see that you get a bigger hook to a ratio to bite ratio. There you go. I don't know what I'm trying to say. A bite ratio. You'll notice that you might get a better hookup ratio that way. You're probably wondering, okay, so it's got propellers. What are the propellers good for? What are they there for? So when you throw this out, you let it sink. When you're retrieving it, those propellers are just going nuts, and they're creating this whirlwind of water around the bait itself. So not only is it making a high-pitched sound, which when it's in the water, it makes a like this high-pitched whirring sound, so the bass can hear it. But those propellers that are creating that water coming off of it are also going to make the bass are going to be able to feel that, and they're going to be, you know, it's going to mess with their lateral line. So they're going to be able to feel it, they're going to be able to sense it, they're going to be able to hear it. So that's why the SPYBAIT is actually a very good lure choice for highly pressured waters. Keep your colors pretty simple when it comes to it. You know, it's pretty much match the hatch. You know, as far as anything that's going on with the bait fish in the body of water that you're fishing, you know, try to match that or something similar. You know, keep it natural. I like something that has something bright right here in the front, because this right here seems to get the bass's attention a lot, a bright red or pink color right there on the chest. But overall, you want a natural color. If you're fishing darker, like muddier waters, thicker water in that sense, you want something that is not translucent, okay? So you want something like this, something you cannot see through. If you're fishing clearer waters, you're going to be able to get, it just wants to stick to it. You're going to be able to get away with something that has that translucent look to it. You know, just kind of weigh your options, look at your, you know, where you're fishing, the kind of waters you're fishing on, and that's going to be the biggest thing. But overall, what you're mimicking is the bait fish that's in the water. That's what you're trying to mimic. One of those little minnows that just kind of sit there, and when they're swimming, they're not swimming too fast. They're just kind of doing this in the water. That's exactly what you're trying to do with the SPYBAIT. When it comes to your rod and reel setup and what you want to do as far as your line. Now, your rod itself, they say to get away with a longer rod if possible. A very popular choice that I saw that was being chosen a lot was a 7'6" rod. I've told y'all in the past, because I'm a pond hopper and I tend to be in tighter spaces, I don't typically like a longer rod like that. But somewhere in the, I have a 7'2" that I think is going to be the best option for me. But typically it's going to be a spin cast option. So whatever kind of spin cast you have, that's going to be the better option for a SPYBAIT setup. When it comes to the type of line that you're fishing with, that's going to also be an opinion, guys. So it is a sinking bait, and you do want it to get to the bottom. So a lot of anglers will tell you that in this situation, and like only in this situation, they will use 100% fluorocarbon, no line to leader, nothing like that. They want it to get out there and they want it to sink. I get that. I totally do. But I also, you know, what do you do when you have a setup that's already set up and it has the braid on it and it has the leader on it? Well, I saw another video that I watched, and this guy, what he does And I'm sorry, I don't always remember exact names or anything like that, the videos and the blogs that I read and watch. This is just kind of like the knowledge, and I just soak it up from, you know, I'll watch a video and I'll take something from it, and I'm like, I like that, and I like this, and I like that. And I try to bring it all together, and I hope that I make some kind of sense for you guys here. But anyway, so what this guy did for his situation, because he preferred the braid to fluoro leader combo, he said, just use a lot longer leader than you typically would. So in your typical situation, a lot of the times you see someone who uses maybe about an 8-foot leader. He's saying go like twice as long, go super long, you know, go up to like maybe 16, 15-foot leader. Get enough of a leader so that that concern of your spy bait getting down to the bottom isn't there. But it's still a leader, a braid to leader situation. That's what I think is going to be what I'm going to try out first. The reason why a lot of the anglers pull away from the braid is because braid does float. So once the braid hits the floor, once the braid hits the water, they think, the way that they put it is that that pulls up the shinobi, not the shinobi shad, that's the one I'm using. It says that they pull up the spy bait in the water column, and that's not what you want. So when you're retrieving it, it pulls it up rather than straight on. That's not what you want. When you're retrieving, you do want the straight on retrieve. So sounds to me like if you have a longer leader, then you're dealing with more fluorocarbon, so that may go ahead and defeat that whole purpose, and it may solve the problem for you. So maybe just try a longer fluorocarbon leader. As far as the weight of the line itself, when it comes to a braid to leader combo, you want to get away with lighter braid if you can, somewhere between what I've read is somewhere between like the 10 or 20 braid combo, the 10 or 20 braid. And then with fluorocarbon, the sweet spot is a 6-pound fluorocarbon. A lot of guys say to go up to 4 pounds, but then when you talk about it, a lot of them were kind of like, I don't know, because when you're dealing with thin line like that, a lot of times it gets caught up on your spool itself, and it gets all messed up, and it can be difficult to deal with such light line. 8-pound for some of the guys seems like it's it's a little too heavy. It might be just, you know, too heavy to go to 8-pound. It's all about an opinion, and I also truly think it also depends on how heavy the actual spy bait that you're using is, because spy bait, did I say that right? But like this one here, guys, this is just a 1/4 ounce. Okay, so I'm not doing anything crazy. I think my setup that I have a 7-foot, and I also have a 7.2. I have 10-pound braid on one, and I have 20-pound braid on the other, and both are being have an 8-pound fluoro on them. I'm gonna try that the way I have it, and we're gonna see how that works. But that 6-pound fluorocarbon seems to be the super juicy spot that everybody seems to be satisfied with across the board. When it comes to the action of the rod, or the action of the rod that you want to use, a medium light is going to be ideal, and you also are going to want something that has either like a fast or a moderate tip, something with a pretty good fast action. I keep reaching for mine because it's right here, but just something with a fast action on it. You know, you want a reaction. See, this to me is the harder part to explain, because you do want something that has a little bit of a backbone, but it is a finesse bait. And so therefore, when it comes to an actual strike from a bass, you want a quick tip, because a tip, the action of that tip is going to tell you if you're getting a finesse bite or not. Because in the wintertime or in the summertime, those are the two times that the spy bait shine the most. You're not going to feel the bite right away necessarily. And that can all make a difference. If you have a more moderate tip, you may not feel it at all. The heavier tip action that you have, the less you're going to feel it. But if you have a faster tip, then you'll actually feel it quicker when the bass takes it. So in the settings where the spy bait shines the most, it seems as though you should probably have a faster tip, because you're going to want to feel when something takes that bait. It's not always going to be some heavy, I want to fight bite. It's going to sometimes just be one of those little, and then they're going to take off, and the next thing you know, your line's going this way and you're not sure how. But the way you want to set your hook, don't set it like a Texas rig. Don't take it and just and take it and start reeling in. You want to bend in, like lean in with it, kind of like you would a crankbait. That's the best way I can explain it, but you definitely want a faster tip. Medium light, you want finesse. That's the idea behind the SPYBAIT. Now, this is a random kind of thing that I thought about, and I'm sure it matters, so we're going to talk about it. As far as the weights on SPYBAITs, the more common ones are going to be on the finesse side of things. So this one's a 1/4 ounce. Okay, so they have them from a 1/4 ounce and they have them up to a 1/2 ounce. I think those are going to be somewhere right in that juicy spot where the favorite sizes are. You're going to have people who want to throw the smaller ones. You're going to have people who want to throw the bigger ones. That's going to depend on you as far as what the most popular is. It doesn't matter what everybody else is throwing. It matters on what you want to throw. So think about that. What are your fish eating on? Don't throw something that looks completely obnoxious in the water, okay? That's what I kind of always go based off. Go to your body of water, look at the bait fish and the little ones that they're feeding on. Think about the size that they're feeding on and try to mimic that size. That's the best advice that I can give to you on that. But the most popular sizes that you see out there are from a 1/4 ounce to a 1/2 ounce. Something I also do want to add in there, and I'm not sure if this even crossed anybody's mind, but a SPYBAIT does not have a rattle in the side of it. No rattle. I don't know if there's no sound. There's no rattle in a SPYBAIT. It's stealth mode. It's silent. It goes down there. Well, the body itself, the propellers make a whirring sound, which is like it just goes down and it goes under the water. It's really, I can't mimic it because it's the water, obviously, but there are no rattles in the actual SPYBAIT body itself. The best situation to throw a SPYBAIT in is where the bass aren't biting as much, where they're being more finicky, where they're suspending and they're not sure what they really want to do. You know, kind of like right now when the winter's coming in and the weather's being weird, or in the middle of summertime even. Those are literally the two best times that the SPYBAIT shine the most, is probably in the wintertime and in the summertime, because those are the two times of the year that the bass aren't really like feeding up as heavily as they normally do. They're more finicky, they're suspending, and they're just trying to get through the season, essentially. That's when the SPYBAIT shines the most. And the reason being is because it mimics just a tiny little minnow that's going to be in the water, and it comes in, and it's literally called a SPYBAIT because it's like stealth mode. It comes in quietly, it falls down, and then it just goes in like this. And that's exactly what those little minnows do. And SPYBAIT shine in pressured water. So the next time you go out to your neighborhood pond or that lake that everybody's fishing on and you see everything else that they're throwing, try throwing a SPYBAIT. You might be surprised by what you get. Alright guys, I'm going to leave you there. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if I missed something, because this one wasn't as in-depth as some of my other ones I've had to go into. This one was pretty, straightforward with it. It's not a whole lot about it. It's not hard to retrieve. You throw it out and you slowly retrieve it back. And, like I said, if you feel like you see a bass that's just following it, give it a couple little pops, and, maybe that'll get the reaction out of the bass. But I hope I covered everything. If I didn't, leave me a comment. Let me know what you want to see more of, what you want to hear. If you have any questions, let me know. Just drop a comment, guys. I'll be there. I'll answer. I'm usually good about that. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Turn on all your notifications so you know when the next video drops. You guys know how it goes. If we're out there fishing, we're out there catching, and we are out there trying to have a happy new year. No complaints. So, what do the propellers do? The propellers sit there and they just, ow, 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 ow. Did it again. Ow, ow. Well, they might be little, but at least they're sharp. Gah.